Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. Let's see, Pam, can you please do the roll call for us?
Mayor Martin.
Here.
Trustee Connell.
Here.
Trustee Ruggiero.
Here.
Trustee Machado.
Here.
Trustee Hughes.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, and the minutes, a copy of the minutes are in your binder. Also were emailed to you. So take a look at the minutes. And is there any corrections that need to be made? Or any additions? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as sent.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And we have our abstracts here. So let's see, in the sewer abstract, we have $78,977.08. And under general, let's see, water abstract, $22,314.18. And under general fund, $55,988.78. Is there a motion to accept the abstracts as read?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
I did have one question about one of the things I saw on here, just because I don't understand what it was for. It was like a $33,000.
Oh,
amount.
okay. Did you print that out for us, the actual
You did,
abstract?
I'm just trying to go.
Oh, okay, here we are.
Here for me to, because I know where it is on here.
All right, I found it.
You know what it is? What is that?
Oh, wait, no, I found where she put it. Where?
Oh.
Yeah, the abstracts themselves. Let's see, I'm gonna have to look. Stephanie's on vacation this week, so she's not here.
The town of Fishkill sewer?
All that gets sent from South Sewer Pump Station
Okay,
to the city of Beacon, but it goes through the town's force main.
okay,
So actually, part of the stuff for my report this month, as of February 1st, we're on the new permit for our sewer plant. So now we're taking 100% of the bill just flow. So that is actually the last payment that we should be making.
oh, okay, very good. That was
That's lower than it's been in the past. I think the last one was about 80
So-
something.
Mhm.
But now we're taking 100%, so that should actually be zero.
Right.
forward.
Yeah.
Right,
So we were sending it to Beacon, but paying Fishkill.
right, because it had to go through their pipe.
Yeah, it was their force main.
Whoever
Yeah.
did that improvement.
So that's not gonna happen
So
anymore.
February, that's our permit limit, we could only take 450,000 gallons a day under the old permit.
Got it.
February 1st, new permit's effective for 790,000 gallons a day, so now we can take. That
Perfect.
should be co-ed.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was my
Thank you for the
question.
explanation.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, all right, so let's see, that was discussion, right? We had a motion, a
Yeah.
second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, here's the papers.
And you wonder why we wanted you here, Paulie.
Okay. So that was, okay, abstract, and we're gonna go right into the department reports. So, Greg, do you have a report or?
I'll just report to the board that the bond resolution process, legal process is now complete for the fire truck purchase. And so the board will consider moving on to the next step, which I would say is getting the final contract from the manufacturer. and having the board approve that contract. I don't know whether they're supposed to be a down payment, so that's certainly a consideration, whether the village has to come up with a down payment.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Do you remember? I thought we didn't have to pay.
Upon delivery, I believe.
Right,
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think we should get a final contract before the board, because I don't.
a final figure from them.
okay,
Yeah,
Sure. sounds good.
okay.
That's what we'd be looking.
And then what would be the next step for us after that?
After that, signing the contract, then, the next major step would be.
Bless you.
Thank you.
The down payment would have to be borrowed.
Mm-hmm,
I'm assuming that's about $200,000. That wouldn't be due until the chassis is.
the chassis delivery, I believe.
Correct.
Right,
Oh, it's like a year or two.
yeah,
At least, yeah.
So all that time you could be waiting,
right.
and then.
And still looking for grant funding.
When it comes due, you have to take out a bond participation.
Right. But this will streamline the process for us because we've already,
You've already done it.
right. Okay, well, that's good news. That was very quick too. So thank you.
Also,
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay, and for building?
Yes, Mayor, I submitted my report, distributed in the binders,
Mhm.
outlines our plan reviews conducted, permits issued, POs, claims, property searches, foils, and construction inspections. Also, you'll see that the, items we discussed, the open expired permits, were in the system. In the past month, we've closed out 48 of those items.
That's wonderful.
Through file review and spot checking going out, making sure signs were installed. In most cases, a lot of these were sign related permits that had to do with temporary signs and planning board applications. So those have been completed and we're continuing to work through those. In addition, I just figured it'd be helpful to give an update on where we are with open building permits that are
Yes.
active. So currently we have 72 that expire at the end of this calendar year. And not on the report, but just a quick update from our last meeting. 542 Route 9, the Promenade project. It's been going very good with the developers there. We had an on-site meeting, myself, Paul, Hans, Danny from the fire department, our engineer Christian Paggi. We walked through the building, took a tour, saw the status of work and completion at this point. We have a follow-up meeting with our professional team from the planning side. So our planner, the village planning board attorney, Hans, myself, and Christian are meeting with them on Thursday. In an unofficial workshop, so it's not the whole planning board, it's just the consultants and us meeting with them to go over next steps. So we're doing that this Thursday. In addition, there was an outstanding water bill for the site that's been paid. So we're going to, I haven't seen Paul yet today, but we're going to work on getting that reconnected. We had disconnected that because of a water break that had taken place, but now that that's all current again, we'll get that back online. And lastly, just as a separate item, and this is more so planning board, but I know it's relevant to the village board as well. The operators are working on an agreement with an ambulance company for dedicated ambulance service for the facility because there is a potential for a high call volume there. They're going to enter into an agreement, they believe, with ambulance, and they're going to provide us with a copy of that agreement for the file so that it doesn't become a burden on the village in any way going forward as well. So those are some of the updates relative to that specific item that we talked about at our last meeting.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick, for following up. This is what used to be the Holiday Inn down on Route 9, and this project has been kind of
moving very slowly for the last few years. So, Nick, got everything in order, went down, with our team. And thank you to Hans and everybody else that participated, Paul. This is a really needed thing for our community. Assisted living will be wonderful. But they do have to follow all the rules and pay their bills too. So
We
thank
wanna
you.
Get them to the finish line as
Yes.
quickly as possible, but we want to make sure it's done right. as well.
Right. So thank you so much for following up on that. Does anybody have any questions for Nick or building related? Okay, the fire, I don't have a report as of yet, so we'll skip over that. Justice is in the, for the court is in your binder, if you want to take a look at that. And then we have with us Glenn for our police report.
Activity of the police department for the month of January consisted of the following. There was one arrest made. Our crime prevention program was in great effect. Service calls were 32, complaints or incidents were 56, traffic summonses issued were 46. Automobile accidents investigated were 19, and foot patrols conducted for 10 hours over the course of 14 different occasions. And there were no items of note for January.
Hey, thank you. Okay, and that brings us to water and sewer. Yeah, we have a report in here.
How many, signs are we quoting out?
So for the welcome to village signs,
Yeah.
there's 5 total. So I just looked that up too. Those were from 2009, put those up.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And does that include, sorry, I didn't mean to go on.
No, that's I don't know.
No, when I was coming, it was funny, when I stopped by the elementary school, I was like, oh, that looks awful.
Yeah.
That,
But then the little ones right at the triangle here, those are later. I mean, yeah, I don't think those are too bad. I
The
just,
one up by CVS got hit. So.
yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
what Ann had brought up. Yeah,
That one.
That one's been gone. And
Yes.
I feel like there might be one missing coming down Jackson.
I think there was one there too. I don't think,
So there's 2 options. We can do aluminum with a nice and glass one.
yeah, that's what I was
I would go-
looking
yeah,
at.
that's what I would do.
Yeah, and isn't that what they recommended too, because it would last longer?
Yeah, like I said, these ones were from 2000.
Uh-huh,
They
So-
lasted.
yeah.
But yeah, whatever you guys, decide, we can do aluminum.
I mean, it would be better if they lasted longer, but we want them to look nice too.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a sample.
Yeah, maybe if they can give us like a markup of what it'll look like.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be good, cause I think, the Fishkill frog one is looking really bad.
Yeah, that one's looking better.
Yeah, over by CVS, but that's not ours, right? No, that's the schools.
Oh, is that,
Just by CVS.
Yeah, I think that's the schools. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But we did replace the sign in Sarah Taylor Park, which was sorely needed. That, yeah. So we're replacing signs as we go, so. Yeah, no, this will be good. If we get a markup so we could see what it looks like, that'd be great.
Do we want to clean up older signs that are no longer needed? There is a court parking sign, I believe, behind the karate studio in that parking lot.
Oh my God, that must have been from when the town had their court over
Yeah.
in the
Take
chapel.
a look at it
Okay.
in your travels.
oh, man.
Yeah.
It was a really long time ago.
I
Okay,
know I had mentioned at a meeting a bit ago that we don't have any signs, and I thought we used to say no through delivery for trucks.
yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
It used to exist,
No.
because it's part of our code not to have, only on these side streets does it say like 2.5 ton weight limit. and those are on the side streets, but nothing here signaling to.
We had thought there was one on Broad Street.
Yeah, there's one, I
There's-
believe, at the entrance to Broad coming off Main. You made that turn around in the cut.
But then I heard that it wasn't there.
Oh,
That-
you know, I haven't
When you
looked for
enter
it,
the
but I think it's
village.
there.
It used to be right
Yeah.
before you entered the village, and then right after that was, this is where the village starts. I mean, if you're trying to mitigate truck travel, and it's in our code for them not to pass through, and there's zero signage to indicate such.
But on the
So
side,
can we verify that there is no sign on Broad Street?
So.
but on the side streets though, right?
No, I'm talking on Route 52.
I don't think you can't restrict it on 52. Yeah,
Okay, there did used to be a sign there. then.
The state probably.
it was illegal. Yeah, it's illegal. You can't, on the side streets we can control, but not 52,
Mhm.
Not 52.
not 52,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's see if there is the one on Broad
I
Street.
tried that in.
And if
Petersfield, too.
there's not, we can certainly replace that.
It's only on the side streets, right? If it's in our,
It only says, 2.5 tons. It
Yeah.
doesn't say,
yeah,
I mean, there's no through traffic going on a side street.
oh,
The sign that was on Broad Street dates back to Ketchum Motors. And a lot of that, that was the only place Ketchum Motors could receive.
Get their
cars,
deliveries.
parts, and any kind of delivery.
Okay, so let's find out if that's still there. And then,
clean up the code.
if there is a place we could put some on side streets, that would be helpful. Yeah, I mean, we want to put them where they would be most helpful. So let's give that some thought. And then maybe
Yeah,
we
'cause there'd be
can
no deliveries, right?
talk about that at the next meeting
Well,
again.
it said, I think it said local deliveries only or something to that effect. It didn't.
No trucks except local deliveries, something along those
Yes,
lines.
correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that'd be great.
yeah,
All right,
so.
I'll find out about that one.
Okay, and then we'll think about what other locations would be most beneficial to put those up, if we put up a couple of those. Okay,
I'll walk up past there.
oh, thank you.
Paul, you check out that sign for me in the parking lot.
Okay, yeah. I'll take a look.
Court parking.
I've never seen that.
Okay, anything else for Paul? We're good,
Did get 2 new batteries to get crosswalks.
okay. Yeah,
2 that we've had issues with, do have fresh batteries on now.
okay,
For those, which one was by the post office.
By the post office and then, right up here in Stone.
Bedford,
Yeah,
Bedford.
yeah.
but wasn't the one by the post office a tree issue?
So, yes, but tree issue and the 1.5-year old battery.
Oh,
It's got a fresh battery,
okay.
so that was my next thing. Gonna be, do we wanna cut the tree down and put a small one there in the spring and.
So it's
It takes,
definitely-
like, filtered sunlight, so.
Yeah, it's definitely interfering.
We literally, we charge them at the shop and we.
But are the
Yeah,
batteries faulty?
It doesn't get.
no,
Are the
there's,
batteries faulty or are they just running their course?
Sun out.
it's,
Okay.
yeah,
It's actually, I think it's different. It actually has been better with,
with less trees,
Less
yeah,
leaves,
less
right?
leaves.
like springtime.
Mhm.
Turn in and just.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to, we could always put back something smaller that
Yeah.
wouldn't interfere with the
I'd be
solar.
okay with that, as long as we
Yeah.
replace it.
Okay. All right, so we'll look at that, because that, they're very helpful when they work. So,
We need more trees. We need more trees, so we don't want to get rid of, right?
yeah, I mean, if it's interfering with the light, though, we might have to, we could replace it with a smaller tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
No,
replace
great.
it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and let's see, clerk treasurer. So here's the monthly report and here from Stephanie. She's trying to do some different kinds of reports for you guys to make the information a little, easier to,
Digest.
yeah.
More concise.
Lots of numbers, lots of numbers, right? So this is,
What is bus patrol? Is that reimbursement? Glenn, for your guys?
What is it now?
Bus patrol?
Well, bus patrol is when we send officers to school every day for 3 hours.
it's revenue for $1,000.
Will we get money from the school district for that? That's
That-
for the,
That's
that's,
upsetting.
that may be what that is.
So crossing guard type, like
No,
monitoring the
we
bus.
They don't do that,
The officer that's at the school every day. I don't know what the amount is. I know it's not a flat number like that. It varies each month depending on.
Okay, I'll email, I'm just more curious, it's not a lot, right? It's $1,000.
Or would it be for the loop bus? Maybe.
It says bus patrol.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what that means,
Yeah, it might be for the school. So yeah, let's ask Stephanie that.
unless it's, but that would be through court, right, with the video camera?
Oh, yeah,
That-
no.
Would that wouldn't come through us, right?
Yeah, no.
All right, like, it's not a lot of money, I was just more curious.
Yeah, no, I would like to know too. Okay.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, if there's any, like any suggestions you guys have to make or anything else you'd like to see, just let us know, because Steph is really good at, diving into all the different computer programs and, trying to get everything nice and, easy to read. So, and then she also printed out all the other stuff too, that she usually emails to us.
HRA payment?
HRA. Where are we?
And very expensive.
That,
Why don't we just, if
Yeah.
any questions, just email Stephanie.
Yeah.
Might be
Yeah,
under-
I
unfortunately
believe
happens to
that's,
not be here tonight, so.
yeah, I believe that's for the insurance. Yeah, health, yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's the insurance. Okay. Let's see, where do we go from here? Okay, and ambulance, do we get an ambulance report?
Report, yeah.
Okay. Ambulance for the village of Fishkill.
46 dispatches in January.
Okay,
Average response times, not great.
hmm.
Nick, do you know what FM1 is?
What page you looking at?
Sorry, I guess it would be. I guess page 5, call volume by unit. Is FM1 just, is that us? I think it's page 5, I'm double-sided.
The one that's,
Don't know what FM1 stands for.
Unless, yeah, because then it says Empress unit, so I don't know if that's the additional unit, I don't know. Okay,
oh, okay, so I don't know what page this is, but it does say additional Empress unit reason. In this box.
yeah, maybe,
I'm wondering if that's the county data that they're putting in
I don't
now
know.
for the additional Empress units from the county.
That started already
Yes,
as of January 1.
as of January 1, yes. There's 2 Empress units and then there is a fly car for the county.
I'll find out what FM1 is and get you an email.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, and planning and zoning, do you have a report for us? Hans?
After the training session
Mhm.
for both planning and zoning and we got out of the planning and the upcoming training session put on by the county. As soon as I get them out, post them to everybody.
You should have gotten those, so those are scheduled for next week, the 27th,
That's yours.
that's mine,
Yeah,
yeah,
but I'm talking about the other courses. We have 3.
then you'll have other courses, okay.
Also, your course there, it doesn't say anything about credits.
I'll give you credits. Since I'm speaking, you can have credits.
I just want to point out,
I'll have Owen correct that. I think we're okay with credit. So we talked about it. I'll have him send something out.
the meeting we had, the promenade, I think, was called. And it became sort of like a culture clash, it says, during the meeting, and then all of a sudden they sort of like, and the ambulance, because the original, the middle that they said, we pointed out that, what are you gonna do with ambulances, what kind of ambulances are you gonna need, et cetera, so on. And then back then, the ambulances were, somewhat better than they are now, maybe not, it depends on which way you look at it. Yeah. They sort of were under the impression that the village of Fishkill had an ambulance sitting around doing nothing all day long. And no, this is not Long Island. We don't have ambulances. We explained to them the situation with the ambulance about the county. And I talked to the one person there. I said, if you expect that we're going to send the village an ambulance, is going to be coming down to your place, transport one of your patients to a doctor's appointment or to the grocery store or something like that, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to figure out if you want a 24/7 ambulance or a bus or whatever, you're going to have to supply it by yourself, and the village is not going to foot the bill for it.
Mhm.
If you have an ambulance here sitting around doing nothing, and you want to tell the village to say, you can use it if we're not using it, that's between you and the village, they would have to come before the board to come soon. I don't think anything's gonna happen, but they were sort of surprised that the ambulance services, it's not like Long Island where they're sitting around doing nothing, waiting for the calls. And also they were sort of like, the fire department's not paid. The police department's not paid, and no, we're all volunteers. And so they sort of like said, well, we can bring one of the ambulance corps that deal down in Long Island up here. I said, well, fine, if you want to do it, you're paying for it, you can do whatever you want. So I just want to let the board know that these people were sort of like shell shocked as to volunteer versus 24-hour service, 24/7 service. So.
Okay, thank you.
You have a meeting this Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday, 4:00, we have a meeting with them. Go over the next procedures as to how they're gonna come before the planning board as to what is gonna be approved or extended.
So you have a planning board meeting Thursday night this week?
Yeah, we're meeting with the promenade at 4:00 Thursday. 6:00 is my.
It's the meeting, regular meeting, yeah. What's on the agenda?
And then roughly 6:30, 6:45. Depending on how my meeting goes, I have a public hearing. How long that goes, and then there'll be training after that.
What's on the agenda for the planning board meeting?
Planning board meeting agenda is McGrath Real Estate for a sign, Verizon for a sign, Taboo. That's Taboo Company for a special use permit coming in. And we're gonna have to send them to the ZBA. Then the discussion on the cannabis law, which you referred to us. And I'm gonna review that, see if we get any recommendations for your board.
Mhm.
Site plan approval, 18 Church Street. Then the Oval Development Corporate subdivision, Raffle J Road, which is a public hearing. That's then that would also be referred to the ZBA because they do a variance because it would be a flood.
That's just a single family home,
That's
correct?
And then training.
Okay,
Thank you.
sounds good. Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to our agenda, and then the next item is Glenn Rafter from Total football Hudson Valley. Welcome, Glenn. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Evening. We met with Mark McHugh on Monday, the groundskeeper for Saratoga Park. Kindly agreed to meet us to discuss the positioning of the shed. We had mentioned at the last meeting that there was perhaps an issue with placing a shed beside the Hudson Valley Rugby Club shed because a tree would need to be removed. So Mark suggested that the optimal spot for a shed would be further down in line with the pavilion at Saratoga Park. We provided an overview of where the shed positioning was suggested by Mark. A couple of the benefits were, no trees needed to be removed. There was no Japanese knotweed, which I think was starting to grow close to the rugby club shed. So if it's okay with the board, we'd like to move forward with that position. It was also brought up at the last meeting that the insurance needed to be in place for Nick Ferris Carpentry, who is a gentleman that's going to help us with the installation. He's in the process of getting that in place, so we can share that with you before we move forward. And then separately, in relation to the soccer goals, we spoke with our insurance company and they confirmed that Total Football would need to get additional insurance in place if we were to leave the soccer goals for the use by the general public. I think it was brought up that there may be a claim against the if there was an injury or something to fall off the goals or trip over them or run into them. So we'll have that additional insurance in place before we purchase the goals. So we've checked that with our insurance company. They've confirmed we do need additional insurance. So
And the village will be named as second insured on that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I think what we would have is we've provided a certificate of insurance for the village of Fishkill, naming you guys as an additional insured. And then we have the different activities. I would guess that it's then added on the fact that we have these soccer goals, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have to be named as second insured on that.
And yeah, as long as, Mark picked a place, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
It's into another other two. Right?
Yeah, it's right down a little bit further,
It's
but
a little bit further away, and he's going to build a ramp to sit.
Oh, nice.
Same way that he built one for the shed.
okay. Yeah, we'd prefer not to take down a tree if we don't have to.
That's cool.
Okay.
Greg, do we have to do a vote for that, or we just give him approval?
Doable.
Okay.
Yeah. Just so it's covered.
So like at this point, I'll entertain a resolution for the approval of the placement of the shed
And installation.
and installation,
Subject,
subject to the added insurance for Total Football Hudson Valley.
Mayor, they'll need to apply for a building permit, but you can make part of your resolution waiving any fees associated.
And waiving any fees associated with any building permits or COs.
So moved.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And don't forget our Memorial Day parade.
We won't.
Okay.
It's okay. I will leave that.
Yes, it's totally fine. Thank you. Have a good night. Yeah. Okay, and so Glenn, the St. Mary's, there's no real update. You're the point guy.
Right now, with the 5K slated for Saturday, May 3rd. The portion of the race typically has been very short through the village.
Yes.
Where I come down, Wood Place to Leicester and down 52 to Gearing. So it'd be very minimal input on our end, maybe an officer or two to assist as they're running, but the meeting that was slated for last night was canceled due to an illness, and I'll be able to update you at the next workshop.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for taking care of that for us.
Problem.
Okay, and you're up again next
Okay,
on,
this time I'll stand up.
oh, okay.
As you're well aware, the department has had a couple vacancies, and we've been actively seeking replacements. And I believe in my heart of hearts that we found an excellent candidate for part-time officer here in the village of Fishkill, that being Tom Corliss. I happen to know Tom for a significant amount of time. When he expressed interest, I was very happy, pleasantly surprised, and I think he'd be a great fit for the village. Little background on Tom. He resides in Cold Spring, our neighbor to the south. Very community oriented. Obviously, he began his law enforcement career in Cold Spring as a police officer, and then he was the officer in charge. And then he subsequently transitioned over to the Putnam County Sheriff's, where he had a long and successful career, retiring as an investigator in 2022. Also, again, the connection with a village community that he has down in Cold Spring transitions well here to the village. His family, longtime Cold Spring residents, very community oriented. He was former chief of the Cold Spring Fire Department and former mayor of Nelsonville. So I wholeheartedly support Tom's interest in the position, and I think he'd be a perfect fit. If we get the approval, he should be able to begin his training in short order. So I highly recommend the hiring of Tom Corliss.
Thank you, Glenn. So, I will entertain a motion to appoint Tom Corliss as a part-time police officer to the Village of Fishkill Police Department.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome.
Trustee Ann Machado.
He has short.
Trustee Anthony Ruggiero. Oh, wait. Mary Pat Martin.
Welcome.
This is our Pam, our village clerk.
Pleasure to be here.
Nick Milano, deputy mayor, and Danielle is not here. So I'm no sir, I'm just Glenn. Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome to the village. Thank you. We're happy to have you. All right, so, okay, next item on the agenda is water and sewer rates discussion. We started to discuss this last month and we're back to discuss some more. So Paul had given me some information that you'll find in your binder here regarding some of our increased costs as it relates to water and sewer. Some of the items that we use a lot of and some of the increases that we've incurred. We have not raised the water and sewer rates since I've been mayor for the last 4 years. And we were considering, changing the rates to keep up with our expenses. So we don't want to get into a position where we would have to do a large increase. Like I was thinking it would be better and more fiscally responsible to do like a more moderate increase every few years instead of a big increase all at once for people. But some of these are items that we use all the time. Like you can see just the difference between 2021 and 2025. The cost of a fire hydrant has gone up over $1,700. Water valves, $472. And these are all things that we use, all the time. Chlorine has gone up dramatically. Our sludge hauling has gone up dramatically. That's like the worst. It went from $12.25 per gallon up to $23.05 per gallon. So, and how much of the sludge hauling are we doing a year?
Yeah, we used to do the old plant, we were running a little a week.
Mm,
And the new plant, we do more flow, but we have a sludge thickener now, so we can get more water out of that. So we're gonna do 2 trucks.
okay,
So we're hauling half, but the price is going up.
Right.
So,
right, so we were supposed to save like
yeah,
so
we were supposed to
much.
say, but the price. went up.
Right, the prices went up.
Thing, but
Right. So those are just some of the things, from Paul then, like things that we need to keep the sewer and water plant operational, some of the increased costs over the last couple of years. In addition to our costs for labor and insurance and everything. So I know Trustee Machado had asked Nick, our building inspector, to run. We had looked at a couple of different scenarios at the last meeting. And the most recent one was 3% in village and 5% out of village. And then on top of that, you have 3% in village, 8% out of village.
The assumption there also takes into account an increase in our proposed prevailing base rate,
Mm-hmm,
which has direct impact on the Blodgett, Blenheim, and Chelsea Ridge water agreements. But in order to facilitate increasing that base rate, there is a slight reduction to the in-village water residential rate and the in-village sewer residential rate, effectively causing a 1.7% increase to that line item,
mm-hmm,
because that's the number that drives those other agreements.
mm-hmm,
See that higher.
right. And do you know the last time the water rates were increased?
2021, they were increased approximately 17.5%.
Across the board, do you know?
Across the board water. So,
But also for out of village?
yeah, I have the prior rate sheet.
And then prior to that, it had not been done.
Before that, I believe I put that in an email, but I can tell you.
Yeah, don't,
I thought it was 2009.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, so our prior increase was 2012 and then 2006 before that.
And do you know what it was in 2012?
I don't know what the jump was from 6 to 12, I apologize.
Okay,
so it went from 2006, 2012, and to 2021?
Correct.
mhm. So I mean, this, kind of like proves that point that if you wait that long, it's gonna be huge. And I just feel like it's just more fiscally responsible and it's also easier for people to budget if, it's not that big of an increase all at once. And then we had a breakdown at the 8% of what it was gonna cost the average, like the user.
The average residential user, with the number we sent around the other day,
Mm-hmm,
just for perspective's sake, the net dollar increase is 19 cents per 1,000 gallons of water usage that we're proposing.
mm-hmm,
That's by reducing the minimum rate of both water and sewer to the residential users.
mm-hmm,
And again, the reason behind that is to raise that base rate because that is what affects the contracts with the other
right,
municipalities and outside users. So the average home is looking somewhere in the neighborhood of $8 to $9 a year increase
mm-hmm.
based on that
Out of village.
in village residential rate.
Would be approximately $8 to $9 a year.
Correct.
Not a quarter, a year.
Correct.
Okay,
Oh, a year.
right. And that's at,
It's at a 3% in village increase, 8%.
okay,
Which will generate projected additional revenue for the water sewer departments, approximately $158,000 a year
Hmm,
to help offset the increase in costs.
right.
So Nick, I've got the little one to your email that shows, right, 3% in village, 8% out, 3% in for sewer and 8% out. But then I've got the large one in front of me that says 3% in village, 8% out, but then it's showing a decrease.
Yes, so what that is.
Which one am I looking at?
The larger one is the newest one that dated the 18th.
Okay,
And that includes the change to the base rate, the proposed prevailing rate. We had a formula error previously and it was being applied to the minimum rate.
right.
So the long spreadsheet that's highlighted and in front of you dated this evening, that's the one, that's the most current information.
And then you're saying, I think there was an email, right?
Correct, there were 2 emails this afternoon that updated the information, and that is the spreadsheet that we're in, the emails about the meaning. Like the trustee Machado had asked about the 5%.
5%. But then, can you just explain for the record, so what does the negative 2.75%?
So this is, that reflects the reduction in the base, the minimum rate, as I mentioned. Because if you look here, the prevailing rate is being increased 12.25 total percent. But it's a net change of 1.7 when you take those subtractions, because again.
Right, so but does this benefit a village resident, or is a village resident subsidizing out of?
This benefits a village resident because their water increase will be a net of 1.7% for the residential.
Same with
water
the
rate.
sewer,
Yes,
approximately.
correct. We're adjusting those rates to affect the base water rate because then that affects the out of district contracts. Does that make sense?
And then you had, I think what Ann asked for, right, 2% in and 5% out.
That's the second.
Per second.
Yeah.
About $12,000 of revenue per percent. They're kind of giving one.
Which are you in? All comfortable with?
I'm still recommending the 8% out, 3% in.
3% in village, 8% out of village, that's the one you're recommending?
Yes. And the reasoning behind that is just to be clear, I mean, there are the town, for instance, who purchases water from us at currently the rate of $11.67, resells that water for $20 per thousand in one district and $30 per thousand in another. Now, they have costs to maintain the infrastructure as well. But, these are just some of the things to think about, that we're producing this commodity at a very fair price to other users, and they're turning around and reselling that.
And that's the Blodgett, Glenham, and Chelsea?
Chelsea is separate, but the Blodgett and Glenham, yes.
And then,
And just as in like the city of Beacon, for instance, we provide them raw water at an even lower price, which they then treat and sell at a higher.
sorry.
No offense from the former role.
And then Fleetwood,
That's-
Fleetwood,
Chelsea, right?
what is that? Is that at a rate, is that a,
they have an agreement as well. They are fixed at our base rate as well, so
Okay.
you will see an increase to that. as
so
well.
those three are long-term?
Mhm.
Okay.
In most cases, these are agreements that have somewhere between 35 and 40 years.
40 years, yeah.
Plus, I would imagine, right, any of the work we're doing on the wells, any of the increases, and who knows what the increases will be going into 26? Or tomorrow,
Yeah, I mean,
so,
the sludge hauling and the chlorine cost is like insane.
I mean, I would think also going forward, we should either something every year, every couple of years, and certainly not 6 and 10 years or whatever.
Right, no, I had met with Bill Bright too from Delaware Engineering. He's been our long-term, our long time, water guru, basically.
He knows the stuff.
And he had said to me that in order to keep, a healthy, balance, you really have to look at your rates every 3 to 5 years. That would be the recommended.
Okay.
Time frame.
Or as it increases.
As needed.
Right, yeah, so. But. Yeah, I just don't want to let too much time go by before we address this, so. Is there any more discussion on this? Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Nick, for putting this
Thank
together
you.
for us, and thank you, Paul, too, for all the information that you gave.
So would a 5% increase out of village be inadequate?
I think we could do a 15% increase and it would probably bring us to where we need to be, but I think
Okay.
realistically, 8 is fair for the circumstances. I think you could go higher and it would be justified, but again, it's, being reasonable and I think, again, let's baseline it and then look as those costs continue to increase, as the mayor said, maybe percentage increases either yearly, bi-yearly, every 2 years. So it's not as big of a shock like it happened
Right.
previously.
And I mean, I'll be honest with you, just in talking to other people, which I'm sure everybody else has, and our water bills are are very reasonable. So, we're lucky that we have the amount of water that we do here in the village, so, yeah. I think we're basically good on the 3%. I think it's the out of village, that's the question, is that the question?
For me, I just wanted the comparison. I mean, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
It's on our end, you're talking a difference of $30,000,
Right.
Can we save that 30,000 someplace else? I don't know. My whole thing is we're coming off of a consumer pricing index that's been high over the last 4 years, and I get it, that affects our bills too.
Right.
I just want to make sure that the out of village seniors aren't, partially affected by this.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do once we sell the water.
Right, they're gonna get the
What
increase.
happens after that, unfortunately. But our rates are very good, so. I mean, I can go either way on the out of village.
I'm okay at 8%.
Okay. All right, I mean, and this is something that we should look at, regularly. So then, I'll entertain a motion for a 3% increase in village water and sewer and 8% out of village.
So moved.
Second,
Is there any more discussion? Okay,
Just a footnote regarding the adjustments to the base water rate and sewer rates for the in-village residents.
okay. So,
perhaps maybe the adoption would be of the spreadsheet
Okay,
numbers, which reflect those changes plus the adjustment.
okay. So then I'll entertain a motion, based off of the spreadsheet submitted by our building inspector and a 3% in village and 8% out of village, which also will address the base rates for water and sewer for the out of district users at 3% in village and 8% out of village. So we,
So
okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. And I do appreciate everybody, giving the thought that you did to this and, helping to compile the data. I think that we really, gave this a good looking at. So I appreciate everybody's work. So thank you. And we'll have to do that again soon. We'll just have to, review that.
This will be effective for the April bill.
Okay.
And for the April billings, that doesn't give a lot of notice to people. To tell them that their water's going up. I think we should be able to notify people their water bill's going up.
Well, it would be for the next quarter, which would be April. So there is time to do a mailing.
Mhm.
And we have a 30-day notice requirement to our contract holders, so we will be able to meet that requirement. The board so chooses, we can do a separate.
So it would be like a 2-month window to notify the public.
It'll be a month, right? When do they go? They go out in April, what? February is almost over. Like the 10th of
Yeah,
March.
around the 15th usually.
6 weeks.
Yeah,
45
6.
days.
Okay.
Get a mailing out.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can do.
yeah,
I
I
think
think
that's
so.
good.
So we'll do a mailing, we can send an email and we can put it on our
Yeah,
website.
post it.
So that's
I'm
pretty,
okay with that.
pretty
Let's
good.
put a notice on the board outside.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that. Awesome. So the next item on the agenda is the hotel tax. So let's talk about that. Okay. Do I have a copy of that resolution? Yeah, I don't know if I have that. I don't think so. Can I have your copy? Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's see, we have here all right, so, yeah, so this, was the hotel tax that we were speaking about at the last board meeting. And then there was a lot of things that happened after the meeting. So there was an email sent out by, I think her name is Malaya, the head of Dutchess County Tourism, and Judy D'Alessandro saying that, we had already voted and increased this tax, which was not true. So, I had to clarify that with them. And then there was a question as to whether this was going to be a layering on of taxes, like the state gets 9%, and then the county gets some, and then the town gets some, and then there was a question if it was going to be like the cannabis law, and then was the town going to take half of our percent? So all these different things happened. Well, we had a bunch of lawyers at the New York State Assembly working on this for us, and they found case law to support the fact that if we were to institute this hotel tax, that the village of Fishkill would in fact get to retain the money. We wouldn't have to give anybody to the town or share our portion of a tax to the town. And this is another thing, like I said, the state gets 8 point something%. The county gets some, everybody gets some, but we're like the lowest on the totem pole. The village, we're the lowest of the low on the totem pole. But the thing is, we're the ones that have to pay for a lot of the bills that are incurred. So, which is why we were looking at this. So we have a letter in here from the New York State Assembly, and it talks about the case law saying that we can maintain the money, the 2% tax. The New York State Assembly is also asking us to do this for a 2-year period. Meaning that if we chose to go to the full 2.5%, that we would stay there for 2 years before we looked at increasing it over time. This resolution is only allowing for the Senator Rollison and Assemblyman Beetham to carry this law for us to New York State to allow us to enact the home rule tax up to 2.5%. It's not actually saying we're going to impose this tax. It's just allowing that we could do this up to 2.5%. So when we discuss again, we could do 1%, we could do 2%, anything up to 2.5% for 2 years. So that was what was said. And municipal home rule law.
So, right, it says it sunsets, which means it goes away, right? So,
The 2.5%.
correct. So, is the sunset from when we enacted as a local law or when the state gives us home rule? Did they say one way or the other?
They
The
did.
way I wrote that resolution is that when, 2 years from when we enact,
Right, because in his letter, it says the 2-year provision, December 31st, 2027.
but we're going to enact ours before the end of this year, so that his date is even further out.
Right. Well, as long as they
As long as.
get us authority, right?
Yeah.
And then I also see in here, which is what the mayor was clarifying, that it's not, the town's portion is only on the town's hotels, not on our hotels.
Right.
Is there a way for us to, just have it be the village and not have the town be involved? Have the village be the village that would be.
That's what this says.
That's what this
That's what-
is,
yeah.
right?
So it would not be a double tax.
It would be
No.
item 4 in the now therefore.
Right.
And it's also in a letter attached from the assemblyman.
Right. And I also included in your binders from Glenn, just I had him pull the last 2 years of reflecting the number of responses that we've been down there. Ambulance and fire are pretty much the same, if not even higher. So,
We had 3 in the last 10 days at one of the hotels.
For fire?
Smoking in the building and candle in the room yesterday.
So to be clear, for any extended stay, which I'm guessing that could be one of the hotels that has a large number, it says it here, it's the highest number of call volume. If they have guests staying there for 30 days or more, they will not be paying this tax. They are exempt after 30 days. So the people with the highest call volume may not even be participating
Why are they exempt?
because they are 30 days.
What
Anything,
does that say that?
it doesn't say it there, but that is what Dutchess County Tourism says. Any extended stay over 30 days is exempt from this tax. 30 consecutive days.
That's what she said in her letter,
No, that's what she told me today.
but that's assuming somebody's staying there 30 consecutive days.
Correct. So that's what I'm wondering at this extent, well, they're extended stay, so I don't know what their average length of stay is there.
But why are they exempt?
That's just, she said that's just what the rule is.
Are those the
Wait, whose
people-
rule?
Yeah, whose rule?
Whose rule?
Is that Melania?
Melania?
Elaine, I guess is.
Melania, yeah, that's what she said?
Yeah.
I would like to know what she's sourcing.
Yeah,
I'd have to, yeah, I don't know why that would be.
I just, the thing is, I understand where they're coming from, the tourism people. We do have a number of hotels that do put a great burden on us as a village, and a 2.5% tax, I think is warranted in helping us to recapture some of our costs and not to burden our taxpayers with it. There are a lot of problems. We know that. I think the extended stay are probably most of the people that are, coming from the county. And we're not gonna get the tax on that. Like, I've already asked that question. Like, we're not gonna get them.
Oh, the county tax?
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah, we're
I
not.
mean, they could be for business, one of the facilities over at East Fishkill or,
Mhm.
doing something else, but I don't know if that matters, right? So it's even if that's true, which I'd like to see where the source is from, it's doesn't mean they're all staying there 30 days.
No, I'm just saying
So-
if they are, they're not, if that's the majority of the clients at that one hotel that has the most service calls, that particular
Yeah, I mean,
is not paying for that service.
I'd still
We
like,
don't know that. We
yeah,
don't
I'd
know
still
that
like
for
to
sure.
see, because if it's 30 days and the person is living there a year or whatever, making it up, that doesn't make sense to me. I can call her. I mean, I'd
Oh,
just be
yeah, I
curious
mean,
to see where
I don't know if
that's,
that's, maybe it's just not considered tourism after 30 days. There's a cap, she said, after 30 days.
yeah, but this isn't tourism,
Oh, I know
unless
that.
unless I'm,
Well, that's, whatever the length of stay is.
Right.
This is a hotel occupancy tax, so, yeah, none of this, very little of this is tourism.
Right.
right.
We know that.
Well, we can find that out from the tourism department.
We have in our village code a section that talks about folks staying more than 30 days. And there's only limited circumstances for which they can stay more than 30 days, and that would be the folks that are placed there. But if a person is here for work purposes, technically the hotel is supposed to check them out in less than 30 days.
Oh.
Require them to have a new reservation.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
Just so you know that. It's
Okay.
only, there is a separate provision in the village code that speaks to that.
I see. Okay. Look, if someone's here for work or something,
They're technically supposed to be
checked out and checked back
checked
in.
back in.
I got
The
you.
limited circumstances are individuals that are placed there.
Mhm. Okay. All right, so anyway, what I'm be entertaining is a resolution to enact the home rule. For the home or for the hotel occupancy tax.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Is there any more discussion?
No, just did they say how long it would take? Right, this goes to, I know where there was a timeline and okay, so we'll get this over.
I think
okay.
there was a deadline somewhere in March that they had to have this by.
Okay,
I know the town of Poughkeepsie's going now too for it.
We haven't heard lately, we kind of Fishkill, what they're doing, have we?
my understanding is they're doing the same exact thing we're doing.
Oh,
Like they're being encouraged by the state to do the same thing.
I believe they've
2%.
been authorized for up to 2.5%
Right.
as well.
So then we would both be kind of equal, yeah, parallel, which makes sense. We're right across the street from each other, so.
Well, that was the biggest,
The double.
yeah.
Yeah, I would
biggest
agree.
Feedback, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
I
doesn't,
got-
yeah, it
I
doesn't make
visited.
sense,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I would
I
agree.
get it. I mean,
I get
people are
it.
struggling and they
Right,
don't have to be in competition with people across the street.
right. And so this would alleviate all of that. Everybody would be like on an equal playing
Or we did-
field.
Right, it'd be
Right,
one or
Us in the county.
Us in
And
the
them in the
county.
county,
Yeah.
or however, yeah.
correct.
and
It
the
wouldn't be
state,
it wouldn't be the double tax, it would be just the same.
and the state.
Yeah.
Oh, in the state, yeah, sorry.
It's the state, the county, and
The state takes a lot.
8.125, and then 5% for the county, and then an additional 2.5%. It would put us at 13.375.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion, a second, discussion, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Abstain?
One, okay, one abstain? And 1, 2, 3 in favor. Okay. Da, da, da. Okay, hotel tax. And does anybody else have anything? We were talking about trees a little bit. I was looking at a tree grant. A small one, but yeah, maybe a little tree grant. We planted some trees last year. Yeah, right? We planted, I think, 14. So if we could plant some more, that would be even better, right? Yeah. Anything on your end? No? Everybody good?
Good,
I'm trying to think what else we got going on here.
You guys have anything for us back there?
Yes?
You
Chief
want to
Steve?
ban for the Memorial Day parade,
Yes.
contact, ban,
We had 2 bands last year.
who ban?
You know, why can't we have some bagpipers?
You pay
A lot.
more than what you're paying.
Well, it's not St. Patrick's Day, it's Memorial Day. Yeah, I don't know, just a
I
thought.
I can check into availability.
Is there a grant for that?
Okay.
Ulster County ALE, Kingston canceled their parade last week. So
Did they
Kingston's not having a Memorial Day parade.
Oh, I saw that in the paper.
ever again?
Yeah, people weren't showing up that they
People's
was,
not.
yeah.
Oh.
Ulster County, each order of Hibernians, I know has a.
Oh,
They
they might have an opening.
We have one open.
They can pencil us in.
get across.
Yeah. Oh,
Reach out to them. Place a call. Yeah. Send it Glenn's way.
Right now. We'll get you pipes.
yeah, that'd be nice, right?
And the cost for the 2 bands.
Hmm?
And the cost for the 2 bands.
Well, we'll have to see.
We'll see what the cost.
Yeah, we'll see what the
let's see what the
cost is.
costs are, right?
Yeah, well,
Only a phone call.
you-
Yeah, right.
professional musicians in the Hudson Valley are probably be between 1,000 and 1,200, depending
Wow.
on how many people you want. The bands we had last year from the Terrytown Vets that Brian Canaro arranged, they're probably sticking to the range at whatever rate that was. I think that was 1,000,
Yeah.
but I don't know how, you know.
Well, it's nice to help the vets too.
But it's the Terrytown Vets, it's not the vets.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
They originally became, they were a Veterans of Foreign War band initially, now they're not.
Oh,
They just kept the name.
okay. All right, well, that would be great if you could check into it for us.
Absolutely.
Oh, I gotta sign. Oh, you have to sign, do you sign? Okay, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.
And